Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the next video. So in this video we are going to discuss about an off-campus, that is Capgemini pseudocodes. So if you are preparing for Capgemini pseudocodes, then you must watch this video completely. So I'm going to solve 10 questions which are actually asked in the Capgemini off-campus pseudocodes guides. So basically I have taken the screenshot. I was actually helping one of my friend. So at that moment I have taken the screenshot and I thought of making a video which will be helpful for you people as well. So basically there are 10 questions and you can see these are the screenshots guys, and they are actually really asked in the examination. So what kind of questions will be there and how to approach the questions and how to divide the question, so these kind of things I will be explaining. So just watch this video completely. Okay, so the first question what we will be discussing is something like this. Here you can see there is a public class called demo, and the question is what is the output of the below code. You can see over here. So they are asking what is the output of this below code. Fine. Okay, fine guys. So public class demo is the opening class. After that public static void main string. Fine. So int arr1, that is array of type integers where 1 2 3 4 5 is stored. After that there is array 2 which is having 1 2 3, that is 3 elements, and here they are doing something like this: arr2 equal to arr1. That means all the elements of array 1 should be moved into array 2. That means these are the elements of array 1. Okay, so these are the elements of array 1, 1 2 3 4 and 5. So they should be copied into the array 1, that is 1 2 3. But you can see there is a difference in size. The size of array 2 is only 3 elements are there, but the size of array 1 is 5 elements. So we cannot copy 5 elements into an array which is having the size of 3. So that's why it will create a problem guys. After that they are having one for loop that says for int I is equal to 0, I should be less than array 2 dot length I plus plus system dot out dot println array 2 of I. That means they are accessing the elements of array 2, and this is the for loop. But anyhow, let us see the options for this one. So the first option is 1 2 3. Sorry guys, the first option is 1 2 3, then the second option is 1 2 3 4 5, then compilation fails, then array index out of bound exception throws at runtime, they are saying. Fine. So here basically the thing is that compilation will not fail because this is the runtime exception. So it is basically it will compile it successfully, but at the moment when it try to copy 1 2 3 4 5 into an array 2, it will throw an exception because the size of this one is greater as compared to the size of this array 2. So that's why the answer for this one will be array index out of bounds exception thrown at runtime. So at runtime this is going to throw an exception. So like this you have to analyze guys. Fine. So this is the first question. Now let us go to the second question. Okay, so here it says that given the for loop, and you can see here guys it is written JEAFF model 1 QB MCQ2. So basically given the for loop constructor, this is the for loop constructor guys, expression 1, expression 2, expression 3. After that there are set of statements. So which statement is true? They have given 4 statements here. So these are the 4 statements. Okay, so this is not valid, this is not valid for loop constructor. So what they are saying is which is true, they are asking which statement is true. So this is not valid for loop constructor, so it's a valid for loop, so that's why the first one is not answer. Okay, after that the expression 1 is optional. It initializes the loop and is evaluated once as the loop begin. Okay, fine. So it might be the answer, but let us review it later. After that, third option says when expression 2 evaluates to true, the loop terminates. This is wrong guys, and because when expression 2 evaluates to true, the loop will execute, not terminate. So that's why this is also not an answer. The expression 3 is evaluated only once the loop begins. This is also not an answer because the expression 3, that is the increment condition, will be evaluated for each iteration. So that's why the expression 1 is optional because it is just used to initialize the variable, so by default it can take. So that's why option 2 is the right answer for this one. Fine. Okay, after that there is third question, what is the predict the output of the following program. So the program is something like this. Class, there is one class whose name is test, and there is one variable that is int I. After that the class is closed here itself. Then public class main is there, public static void main string arguments. The public static void main is proper, so there is no problem with this. First of all, just try to check this one, guys. Whenever you are trying to solve the pseudo codes, first of all first of all take a look at main method. So if it is proper, then you can look over to the other modules of the program. But if it is improper, or if it is having any problem, then you can directly say that it will not compile. Fine. So after that there is one object which is created. So it's a object of this class, guys. Test t equal to new test, and t is the reference variable. Now what they are doing, system.out.println t dot I they are doing. So t dot I means t will be the object of class test, that will be having one variable, that is int I. Fine. So int I is the variable which is present inside this t object, but it is not initialized. So if it is not initialized to anything, then what will be its value? If it is type of integer, we know that its initial or the default value will be equal to 0. If it is floating point, then 0.0. If it is string, then its value will be null. Right. So like this we know the default value. So here also the same thing applies. It is not initialized, in the sense its default value will be 0. So whenever you are printing here, it will print 0. So let us see, here you can see it is given as the first option, so it's 0. After that, garbage value, it is not applicable, compilation error, no compilation error will come, and runtime error will also not come. So 0 is the answer for this one. Fine, guys. So next we'll move to the next question. So here also, what is the output of this code? And there are these 10, 0, 5 and compile time error. So these are the 4 options. Now let us see the question. There is one class whose name is point. Fine. So after that, int m of x and int m of y, these are the two variables. They are type integer. And then public point is the method. So it's having two arguments, int x and int y. So they are mapped to mx and my. So you can see mx is mapped to x and my is mapped to y. So this is the body, guys. So just like here we will be writing point. After that, opening brace, and here I will be writing mx equal to x and my is equal to y. After that I am closing. So this loop they have written in the same line. So this is the body of this loop. Actually the whatever things here you are seeing, this is the body of this point method. Okay, fine. So after that, this is public point, and here there are no arguments passed, and this of 10 comma 10, that means these mx and my are initialized with 10. And then public int get x, this is to return the mx value, and another one is used to return the my value. So here you can see the main method, public static void main string arguments, and we are creating the object of point class. So object of this one is created, means these all things will be taken inside the object, that means they will be included in the object. And after that, system.out.println p.getx. So this is basically printing the value of x, and getx is basically returning the mx value, and mx is in turn mapped to 10. So you can see 10 is the output for this one. So that's why the first option is going to be the answer for this particular question. Got it? Okay, fine. So after that, now let us try to solve this next question. Okay, so description, consider the below code. Which line number causes the above code to throw an error at runtime? So they are simply asking that which of these following lines, there are 4 lines which they have highlighted, like line 1, line 2, line 3 and line 4. So which of these lines is going to throw an throw an error at runtime? So it should throw an error at runtime, guys. So that line we have to find out here. Okay, so let us see. Public class sample is the class which is written. Then this is the constructor, guys, because its name and the class name, constructor name and class name will be always same, and it will not be having any return type. So the same thing is here. So sample, and no parameters are passed for this one, and there is no variable which is present inside the constructor. Okay, fine, there is no problem with constructor. Now static void sample and open close parenthesis. So after that, this is called inside this static method. So this is basically an constructor. So this is constructor, guys, and it is called inside the static method. Fine. So after that, this thing is closed over here, you can see. Okay, fine. Public static void main string arguments, there is no problem with the main method, it is written properly. And after that, they are calling the sample method of the this sample method is called. Okay, so line number 4 is calling the sample method. So now I think, now let me just show you the options, guys. Okay, so constructor 1 is marked as public, so this will not throw an error because it can be public, private or default. There is no problem with constructor. Constructor is invoked inside a static context. Main method definition is not correct. This is also not an answer because the main method is correct. Now the answer should be either the line 2 or line 4. Now let us read line 4. Constructor cannot be invoked as it is not defined with public access specifier. So constructor is already public, guys, and okay, so if it is not public also, then we can access it within the package, I mean within this particular program whatever you are writing, because it will be having default access. So this is also not an answer. So the answer is constructor is invoked inside a static construct. So we need not to invoke the constructor inside this static method because this will be executed only once. So that's why constructor shouldn't be called inside that one. Fine, so that's why the option 2 will be the answer for this one. Okay, fine. So next thing, this is select the correct statement regarding the constructors. So you need to select one statement which is true regarding the constructors, guys. Fine, so let me just